All right, we are going live in five, four,
Five,
three,
four.
2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show, to another episode of the quarantine edition of the Better Things to Do podcast. You got your boy, Jay Z Prods, with the flex, King underscore Yuli, and then gamer hours, no soul double underscore, with the luscious faux hawk or
So
mohawk.
are
That's a
people
mohawk.
gonna be going like when they see us in the streets, like, "Hey, it's King underscore Yuli"?
Yes. We will be
Waka.
formally addressed
Oh, that's your fault, man.
as our
Lift your hand.
ads. Say you could have been Big Buddha Yuli, but you haven't switched it for whatever reason.
Or just call me Yuli.
No, King underscore Yuli. Let's roll out the intro and let's get to it. All right, all right, all right, all right. How you guys doing?
I'm big chillin'.
Big chillin'.
Yes, sir.
Our boy over there also looks big chillin'.
He's the max. Well, he looks like he's
Dude, I hate these cassettes, dude. They never start right.
I know.
cassettes.
Wait, are those cassettes technically, or cartridges?
Yeah. I always knew them as cassettes.
Really?
But then again, the homies I had when I was playing these would say upper and downer, so take that for what you will. You know that.
Got it.
It's the OG one.
I I still have
Before I
one.
go any further.
Oof, dang. He means
You just
business.
snatched him bald, as the kids say.
Oh, there he goes, repping the
That was just a joke.
Rams,
I'm not gonna wear that.
repping the
wear that shit.
Rams. We we
Let's
we,
see.
we
What
wear
today?
we wear beanies in this podcast because we're a bunch of beaners.
True. Speaking of which, I never eat frijoles, and today I had like frijoles de chorizo. Bam, bam, bam. Slap them on the tortillas. Some carne, some nopales, like pico de gallo, but the nopales. Some guac, some salsa, some red chile, and then some queso fresco. And dude, I ate it, and my tummy is feeling a okay, dude. So
Oh
I don't
boy.
know if I'm finally like I can eat frijoles, but I
Wait,
just want to.
why? Why not?
I don't know. Like my
Is it
panza is
lactose?
just, yeah, and it just like bitches out when I have frijoles, and I just get so gassy where like it hurts.
But isn't that like the whole like stigma of beans is that
Yeah.
it gives you
So
vitamina B2?
yeah. So the stereotype is true on the frijoles, but I don't know what my mom did with them today. It might be like the chorizo or something, but like my stomach is a okay. I will
I
give
would
you
have
guys
thought
the final verdict tomorrow, because that will probably be
I,
the final test.
I would have thought that would make your belly worse. With
And
the chorizo.
and I had a nice coffee. So tomorrow morning we'll see exactly if I'm still a okay.
Do wait. So is that stereotype of coffee also making you poop? Is that true?
Oh, the
That
coffee shop.
I think coffee, the bean and stuff is
Ah, because
it's a
coffee is
laxative.
beans.
It's a coffee bean, so it's like
Coffee
a
bean, yeah, but it's like it also contains vitamina B2
yeah.
because they're technically
So
coffee beans.
and then just with the whole like milk and all that in it too, that like adds to
Why
my.
don't you get it without coffee, without the milk?
I get it with the
It's
almond.
black.
I'm just saying if I ever drink like regular iced coffee.
Or with almond milk.
Oh yeah, that's where it's at. It's tied between almond and coconut. But like,
It's tied with what? What kind of milk?
uh, almendras and,
Ah, okay.
and the coco.
Ah,
It's tied between those two. So I can't believe I'm gonna die in the grave, and it's gonna say like, "Rest in peace, Yuli. He choked on on an almond," and then always gonna come in. Nope, it's an almond. He like crosses it out and writes it the right way.
you really love this pizza, but I'm gonna spell it like that. Pizza.
How do you spell that?
What is
P.
it? Oh, go ahead. No, spelling bee champion.
P E X XMA. You got Pixma. PEEXG.
Pigsma.
Pixma.
I would have thought like I was originally gonna go with PEEKZA, but
Ooh.
now as I'm thinking about it, I maybe want to do PEAKZA, like peak season Z,
Mm.
Pigza.
pizza. If it's like really good pizza,
For
Like it's
me,
peak
for
season
me, it's
pizza.
more like a PEEGZUH.
pizza. Oh, okay,
Like
pizza.
pizza, pizza.
Pizza. So you put more emphasis on the Z.
Yeah, pizza. Cause like the
No, but I hear it as a K, but Jack hears it as G.
yes, because I feel like he tries to say that word so quickly. There's no like articulation at the beginning at all. It's kind of like pizza is kind of like an afterthought. It's like pizza,
Because
pizza. He's just trying to get it over
actually,
with.
if I'm spelling it how the way I say it, I think it'll be PIXA. Like chunti pizza.
That's even worse.
Because
Thinking of it like that.
the way you want to spell it is PITZA, pizza.
No, the way that's how it's said.
I
That's
know
like
that's what I'm saying. That like the way you say it is that's how you want to spell it.
A lot of people
Pizza.
in Mexico actually do say pizza with the T.
Mm,
I've heard that in pizza.
I've
pizza.
I've never heard pizza. I only heard it once, and when I did hear it, I had to call it out. I was like, "What the fuck are you saying?"
Excuse me.
It's
The
not.
leaning tower of pizza.
It's not. It's not goosey. I like that goosey belt. It's Gucci.
I was wondering what goosey
Yeah,
was.
I thought you were saying.
no,
I thought you were saying that, and I was like,
no. Goosey. Goosey.
so I was like, oh, wait
Gucci.
a second.
Like Miss
I was like,
Boosie.
goosey.
Miss Boosie is Miss Bucci, our high
Mm,
school teacher.
shout out
Goosey
to
gang,
her.
goosey gang, goosey
Oh
gang,
wait,
goosey
you
gang.
guys didn't have Bucci, did you?
Uh,
I didn't.
I didn't have her, but I knew of her. She knew of me. That's all
What
that
what
mattered.
what class was she? Or what
History.
did she teach? History.
Uh, American history.
I think so.
Second. It was the second year, sophomore year.
I had Sardo.
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
have Bucci.
Miss Sword.
You know what I was thinking the other day?
Mhm.
Um, I don't remember who I had for English sophomore year. I can't remember who. Because I'm
Oh,
like,
I had
who
Miss.
was it?
I had Matus.
I'm like, I had Miss Vincetti. I can't remember sophomore year, and then I think I was 2 years of Moreno, and I can't locate who I had for sophomore.
Well, it's either Matus or Cororubus.
Covarrubias, you're right. It
Yeah,
was
dude. The
Covarrubias.
Guajalote.
Yeah, because Brad would always be like Scobarubius, because that's what his address was.
Yeah. All right. Can we talk about like these last names though? Like Cororubus.
Can you actually say it?
Cova Rubius.
COVID Rubius.
COVID Ricky Rubios.
Ricky Rubios. Ah,
See what I done there?
yeah, I see it.
Like, what's
CZ.
another like dank last name that like
Miss Dank.
is a
Miss
little
Dank.
extra? Miss
Cause
Miss Dank.
Danko.
oh
Miss
yeah,
Danko, dude.
Miss Danko was lit, bro.
Yeah, dude. That's like if you're gonna have a last name,
Make it
that's it right
dank.
there. Make
Oh,
it dank
Imagine,
AF.
imagine like in like another high school, there's like someone named Miss Bunko.
Bunko and Bunko.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
see, I had
Bunko.
Danko for my senior year.
Oh
She was chill as fuck. That class we did like nothing but reading and writing, so
yeah.
I got really good at writing. So she would have us do like 3 page essays, like as a warm up, and I
Hmm.
and like the warm up, it was like it was supposed to be like 30 minutes of class. and then we would get into a topic. But warm up was usually like 45 minutes because everyone
Yeesh.
always took forever. So my warm up was 15 minutes because I would just blaze through the fucking essay, and then I would
Mhm.
sleep for 30 minutes. Like she would let me sleep, and she didn't let anyone else sleep. Like someone tried sleeping, and she was like, "Hey, what are you doing? Like wake up! Like why are you falling asleep in my class?" And like I think it was a girl, and she's like, "Then why does he get to sleep?" And then she was like, "When you finish your essays in 15 minutes, you can take a nap."
Ooh, let's go.
Like she like roasted her, and I was like, "Oh shit!" I felt like all the attention was on me. I was like, "Oh fuck! I shouldn't go to sleep anymore."
Did I feel
Did I
the
care?
dank?
No. I still want to sleep.
I was gonna say, did it feel dank?
Yes.
See, you had a 45-minute warm up, and in Fletcher's class we had like a 5-minute fire up. That's what he would call it. He would call it a fire up because he's like, warm ups are too easy. I need to challenge you right out of the gate first thing in the morning. And like he'd give us fucking integrals and derivatives and shit first thing in the morning, and it's like, bro, I'm
Wait,
not even awake enough to do this shit.
Black Shaw?
Calculus,
Fletcher.
Fletcher,
Oh, Fletcher. For some reason, I thought you said Black Shaw, and I was like, I didn't understand your accent because I thought he was
Blackshaw,
Scottish.
and Blackshaw was like, I was supposed to do work here.
Black Shot was another class that I also went to sleep in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
that was the class there. It was just like as long as you didn't like tear down the wall, you were fine.
And then when he like actually wanted to teach, he would just bring out his kilt. He's like, "All right, let me give you some history on my uh kilt, bloody."
I feel like Wright was more likely to yell at us in Blackshaw's class than Blackshaw was.
Yeah,
yes. Yeah.
shout out to all the chill teachers out there.
Shout out, but also not shout out. Shout out because it's like you guys are chill, but some of you are too chill.
Okay.
Like
Mr. Richardson,
I
my
never had
chemistry
him.
class.
I never had him.
Oh,
Dude,
dude,
I feel like no
had-
one at our school had like a permanent chemistry teacher.
I had Miss Doubt.
Like, oh yeah,
Good
before Miss
because
Dow.
like because there was one. It was Mr. Napier, but like
Oh, I forgot about him.
our sophomore year, I think it was like halfway through the year, like some shit went down, and then he just like never came back. And they were saying that he got fired. He got like in a fight with the principal or the district or something. Like I still don't know what really happened, but that was the rumor.
Uh-huh.
And I had I wasn't gonna have Napier in the first place because I was doing jazz too.
I can't put a face to the name Napier. I don't remember him.
He
I have very vague. I think I only saw him like twice.
Wait. So what you're saying is it was Miss Daub and him? Like there's two?
Yes,
Oh,
but
oh yeah,
then
I only knew of Miss Daub.
because I had since I wasn't doing chemistry honors, I did jazz, so I
Mm-hmm.
had to take regular chemistry, and I had it with Mr. Richardson.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Chris. And he taught uh like like whatever it was, he would teach it in 50 easy steps, and me and Chris were able to figure it out in like 3. And we would then teach the class how we were doing it and getting the same answer. And he's like, everyone would always eventually like come to us if
Mm-hmm.
they didn't get it because we understood it and did it way easier.
Yeah, chemistry was easy. I really liked it.
Not our year. Our year was a
I
mess.
I feel like I never fully understood chemistry. Like I was filling in numbers, but I didn't know what they meant.
Yeah, it's math and science in one, and it's just like it's too
It was
much.
more of like values more than
Yeah.
Yeah,
anything. Um,
like I got the answers right. Like I passed the class, but like I didn't know what the application of it was.
yeah. I think that was just kind of to dip your toes, because I feel like chemistry is one of those subjects that you can't just get a class or two and understand it. I feel
Right.
like chemistry is one of those subjects that you gotta deep really like you gotta dive really deep.
Then I don't think they should make it a required one, because I think that one was a required because you know how physiology and then physics you
Physics.
could choose between the two.
Right. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
should make those two a required one. Take out chemistry, um, or maybe take out physics too, because that's too hard too.
I have a beef. I have beef.
Okay.
Uh,
Carl.
what's the beef?
So you had physics and you had physiology, right? But there was another class that I didn't even know about until like halfway through the year.
Sex
Con-
education.
no, conceptual physics,
Oh yeah, I know about that one.
right?
Really?
And I would ask, well, what's the difference? And they're like, oh, conceptual physics is easier, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
physics is already easy.
Yeah.
It's like it's mass times acceleration equals force. They give you mass, they give you force. Find out what accelerate. It's like easy. It's like second grade math.
Gravity.
And I was like, you guys need it to be even easier, bruh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you want to be a lawyer?
I found it. I found it really funny how everyone, as soon as they were like, okay, we're not gonna do feet yard, or feet yards or anything and like that anymore. We're gonna move to the metric system. People were like, the metric system. And it's
Was
like, bro,
that?
yards and feet and inches are so much harder than the fucking metric system. Like, why are you guys like tripped out? Everything is multiplied by 10. That's it.
And not to mention, I'm like, you probably don't even understand feet yards to begin with.
Yes.
So what's the problem?
See, like my feet yard. Even till this day, if I try to think really hard, I don't remember what it is, what they are. Like
Like, how many inches are in a yard?
I have no fucking clue.
36.
I know, like, I don't know how many feet are in a yard and how many inches are in a yard. I know 12 inches make a foot, right?
Yes.
And then
36 inches makes a yard. 3 feet make a yard.
Hey, look, and fucking, I
Yeah, I don't
swear
know.
he googled this. I look at it.
My hands were here the whole time.
I can see the screen through your eyes. I can see it.
caught
What?
red-handed. Caught
How dare you
red-handed.
guys? This is my actual knowledge from my brain,
See,
and you guys are excusing me.
see,
dude.
I'm trying really hard to remember measurements, and you're cheating over here.
I'm not looking. My keyboard's all the way over here. My hands were on my. Well, you don't want to know where it was, but they were
See?
there. And
Because like all we see is just there's 36 inches in a yard. There are 3 yards. Like you leave
how
me
dare you
alone.
guys? That was actually from my brain. I'm
You
offended.
sounded if it was, you sounded robotic as fuck.
Oh,
Like it sounded like you were reading something.
What do
Oh,
you,
no.
what do you guys think watching? Was he cheating or was he not? Let us know in the
Yeah.
comments below.
I
I
don't.
think
I
I
don't
think
cheat
he was
out here,
cheating.
dude.
I think he was cheating.
I
No.
don't.
I call hacks.
You guys could tell. Look, these are my shoulders on the keyboard. These are my shoulders where I've had them. I'm telling you, I'm proven
Did I see?
innocent
Was
until proven guilty, and I'm innocent.
How many yards in a mile?
In a mile, 2,756.
It's already opened up, dude.
I just guessed. Actually, can someone fact check me?
Let me see. Let's put your
What
knowledge
is
to
it?
the test.
2,756.
How many
Wait,
what's in a hoop?
Yeah, how many yards is in a mile?
Yeah.
I feel like it's less.
Yeah,
I think that's feet.
maybe.
I think you were thinking feet, maybe.
Oh shit,
I
maybe.
don't remember.
Yards
Oh,
in a
wait,
mile.
wait. If a football field's 500 yards, right? 50 yards, 100 yards.
500 yards, bro.
How did we march?
And
It was 3 yards, right? Every.
imagine imagine a 500-yard Hail Mary.
That's
Well,
like that's that's a little under 5 football fields long.
ah. So when we were marching, we weren't like.
No, not at all. I
Damn.
think it's technically 120 because
Yeah, 'cause the end
it's 100
zones.
yards up until the goal line, and then from the goal line to the end of the end zone is an additional 10 on each side. I think. So I think in total from the end of the end zone to the other end is 120.
Okay, then I think it's 500 yards in a mile. No, 700. What the? 8,000.
1.7K. 1,760.
And what did I say? 2,700.
You were like,
Dude. See, look, I was thinking metric. So if you divide it, and
Word.
there you go.
But yeah, like
Okay, wait. So how many yards are in 100 Fahrenheit if we're calculating into Celsius and we're dividing it by like the centimeter of each?
anyway, physics was another class where I got to sleep. And Noé witnessed it. And
Wasn't it because you guys were watching like Disney movies the whole time?
no.
well, that
Yeah.
Imagineering, okay?
The-
I forget his name though. The Imagineer that we would always watch.
yes.
But like,
But she loved us. She loved me and Noé.
cause she was like, cause I think there was one dude who always be like, you do it, you do it, you do it. He'd always be like, why they get to sleep and I can't? And he's like, she said the same thing. She was like, well,
When you
because
have an
they
A,
aced their
something that
test and they have an
Yeah.
A in the class, so when you have an A, you can go to sleep, which was great because we had physics right after lunch, so
Mhm.
we'd all be sleepy anyways. Only we got to actually sleep.
True. And then
And
like
plus, we were taking pre-cal earlier that day, so it's like comparing pre-cal to physics was like, come on.
yeah, and then like she would let me move seats. I would always sit next to this fool in physics.
Oh, we learned how to beatbox in that class.
Yes, we did.
Can you give
Yeah.
an example to the boy?
Oh, bro. I've been retired.
It's been 89 years since I last did
The,
a
the
pussy
one,
cat.
the one that for sure I remember very specifically was going into class, learning the technique to scratching, and coming out of the class knowing how to do the scratching.
The wiki
We went,
wiki.
we went like, we went prestige one, level one, went going into the class, and we had like 3 prestiges by the time we came back out,
Mm.
and within that class.
We had
You had
like
I
a, you had the gold camel.
we had like quadruple XP in that class.
Mm.
We did a lot of dubstep beatbox in there too.
Easy, dude.
It your room is so boomy that it cut your mic off. So all we heard was that initial like if you dropped a shoe, and that was it.
Ah. So I'll do it in slow motion for you guys. Whoop, 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 whoop. Can you
Very
do
very slow motion.
I just heard.
Yeah.
it? It's so because I'm doing a very low frequency, so you can't really hear it. I'm playing like an A below like zero, hertz. It's down there.
Below 0 hertz.
Yeah, dude. Negatives.
Yeah, bro. Like his megawatts are negative.
I have like this many gigabytes, and you can like.
There's a whale somewhere out in the ocean going like, "Who's calling me?"
They're like, I'm out.
And they're like, "Wum, wum, 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 wum."
Las tortillas.
He's like, fuck.
Oh. But hey, did you guys see the new PS5?
Oh yes, sir.
I want your guys' thoughts and prayers.
My thoughts, THOTS, thoughts and prayers.
Yes.
I'll let Noah start with this one.
Oof.
Okay.
I feel like I always start. I gotta let the homies go first, you know.
So selfless.
I digged it. Especially when you juxtapose it with the Xbox Series Xbox One, whatever. It's they got to figure out a better name for that. I don't know who came up with.
I think that's
It's
kind of cool. X series.
Xbox Series X. It's just too much X. It's like Xbox One, and then they were like Xbox One X, and I could have sworn they were gonna go Xbox One Xbox. Right? I thought they were just gonna keep going. It just like compare Xbox Series X to just PS5. Like it's just so much sleeker. Not to mention the system itself just looks so much sleeker.
Can some people
Like
argue that that's too simple? Just PS5,
I
that it sounds
guess
boring?
Dude, we're in a minimalistic like world
I,
now.
I I guess, but I mean like how much like it's just weird to say Xbox Series X and you could just say PS5. It's just and plus like do you need so much ornaments on the name of the system itself?
Well,
Or you just call it series?
some
Is
people
that what
enjoy titles.
I guess seems like
Like,
a weird thing to enjoy because I mean and like here aesthetically the Xbox Series X, look at how much I'm fucking saying, dude. Like it's it's so
you could just say Xbox.
no, because then which one? Xbox or Xbox One?
Or the 360.
Um, see, but that one you would just say 360.
Right.
So I guess you would just say Series X.
Series X.
Whatever.
That sounds kind of cool. Series X.
I guess
Okay.
that makes me buy it because it has that.
Even Elon's kid has like a slicker name than.
I'd rather say his name than Xbox Series X. But like aesthetically, um, there's not much to say. It's literally a black box, right? While the PS5 is like oh dude, this is different. Even for for PlayStations, it's radically different,
It looks like
right?
Kyber's
And
coat.
it's like yeah, it's popping its color, dude. And it's
Mhm.
like it right now, or at least right now, all that cyberpunk stuff is still kind of hot,
Yeah.
so it looks very cyberpunky, right? It has that aesthetic.
Mhm.
Um, I generally like it. I'm wondering if there's gonna be a price difference because one of them's digital and one of them you can use CDs.
Oh,
I
which
wonder.
one's digital?
PS5 they have two versions.
Oh, okay.
There's one at the end there, like you can see it. It literally like it looks like it's like
Yeah. It adds like a
it
whole
looks
extra.
yeah, it looks like it has a booty,
Yeah.
but
If you
that's what
want, pull
you
up a picture so the
Yeah, yeah,
peeps
yeah.
can see.
Yeah, I'm on it. I'm curious.
the digital only version basically doesn't have the CD
Oh,
whatever thing.
is it that like skinny one?
Mhm.
Yes. And then
Okay.
the one with CD has like an extra little curve.
It has a belly.
Oh, I see it. I see it. I see it.
See, you see it as a belly, I see it as booty.
Okay.
Ooh,
Let
slim
me.
Um,
thick. Oh
but
yeah.
I'm wondering, yeah, I'm seeing it like that. Um,
Okay.
I wonder if one of
Oh
them will
no.
be cheaper than the other, or they'll
Oh.
be priced the same. Um, and I think the thing that's killing Xbox, at least this last generation over PlayStation, was like the Xbox didn't have like a whole lot of like meaningful exclusives.
Mhm.
Because I mean, if it's the kind of game where you can play on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox, it's like whatever. You can just pick your poison.
Mhm.
But if you're gonna talk exclusives, like I'm getting a PlayStation 5 to play these games because they're only available on PS5 or PS4. There was more cool exclusives on PS4 than there was on Xbox One. And
I'll put the PS5 over my camera because for some reason the display isn't working. But
mhm,
this is pretty much what it looks like. This is the digital one, and this is the one with the low booty for the CDs.
Low boot name.
But even
so like,
that CD port, it looks like it's smaller. Like
mhm,
based on this picture, it looks like it's smaller. So I wonder if the CDs are gonna be different.
that oh yeah, and I'm wondering if there would be any difference in memory since they're like, well, since you don't have to store the games, you
Right.
can give you less memory, or the digital will give you more memory since it's all digital.
I think digital is the way to go. I know some people like I used to be the physical copy person. But then as technology got better, I kind of liked being able to have all my games in one place. For like, because for example, I have a Switch. I have both digital games and I have the little cartridges themselves. But sometimes, like, I'll go out, I'll take my Switch, but I don't take the game. So I'm like, fuck, I really wanted to play this, and so then I'm shit out of luck. As
Mm-hmm.
opposed to if I have them just digital, I can just access my games like anywhere, anytime, anywhere.
For me, it's like there's the physical copy is lost. Like the enjoyment of the physical copy is lost.
That is true.
Because when I was a kid, I remember getting a game, right? And on the ride home, you're popping that bitch
Yeah, you're
open.
like,
You're reading the manual.
yeah,
You're getting everything. So by the time you get home and start playing, you already have a basis of what you're doing,
yes,
right? You
Mm-hmm.
can even skip the tutorials if you understood it well enough. You can just go right into the game. Now there's really no point in having the CD besides just having the case. And even then, the cases are boring now. They're
yeah.
very like even if you wanted just to like just as art, if you will, it's like the box art itself isn't even that interesting anymore. So it's like I think we probably should just end up going digital.
I think it's like that with music too. I don't know if you guys would agree that even CDs, like CD covers, some of them are boring as fuck. As opposed to like think of like the Pink Floyd covers or like Metallica, like those covers like they took work, they took months to produce,
It was
and
part of the album.
yes, it was like it was as much of an experience as the music itself, and
Mm-hmm.
and now like I think the latest cover that I really enjoyed was the Bad Bunny one. That cover, I was like looking at it, and it was such a long time since I sat down and I studied that cover. I was like, oh shit, like this is badass. The more I looked at it, the more little things I could point out from the cover. But now most covers are kind of just like a picture of someone just going like this, Frank Ocean, um, Tyler the Creator, like that, like black and white Igor cover with like the flat top. It's just kind of like they're a little more like I guess what you said, Yuli. Like it's the minimalistic era,
Mm-hmm.
so there's not a lot of like intricate designs nowadays. It's just kind of like a picture I snapped randomly on my phone and some font that's like says either the artist name or the name of the album.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of
Even
what
with
it feels
like
like now.
style too, how like that Kanye like it's so ridiculous looking, but when you break it down, it's like minimalistic, like because it's only like plain colors, very monotone, but it's still kind of like out there just because like it's so it's like it's being boring on purpose. You get me?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of redonkulous too.
Yeah, it's just a choice thing. I'm personally not a huge minimalist. Um, for honestly, just because it's boring.
So you're
I don't
telling
mind.
me all
I
your
don't
navy shirts that you
see,
own?
look, but like that's just because I don't like spending money. That's not a taste thing. Because I don't like spending $30 on a shirt when I can just go to like one of those Asian stores and getting like 5 shirts for like $10. That's more of a money thing. That's more of a money thing rather than a taste thing.
Es que es de
So
Monterrey y es bien codo.
Exactly.
so if you had that shmoney, like how like out there would your clothing look like?
Um, I
He
mean,
would
I
look
wouldn't get too
he
wild.
would look like Little Pump.
Oh no. No, but I'd probably just wear more brand shirts, more like stuff that I actually like. Um,
Because you wear like graphic tees too, so like that's
yeah,
still
I-
like out there.
I'd be wearing more stuff like that. Like I'm not saying like fucking every shirt has to be a photo collage, but like uh I'm not saying that I want to be wearing like post-apocalyptic clothes like Yeezys
Mhm.
or just like I'm like okay, like I get it the minimalism, pero tampoco se pasen. Because there's some people live the minimalist life where like everything is minimalist, and I'm like, okay, like dude, throw some colors in every once in a while, like have like a red carpet or something, like fuck, like spruce it up,
See, like
right?
like I wear a lot
Like
of
I don't mind.
grays. Oh, go ahead. You can go ahead. Finish
Oh
it.
no, it's just like uh I guess a balance thing. Like some people like they're like either minimalist or not. And it's like okay, like I get it cuz I knew some people that like all of a sudden they just started throwing all their shit away and they're like, "Oh, I'm living the minimalist life," and everything they did was just like as minimal as possible, and it's like I mean to each their own. Like
Well,
I
I think at
I'm
that
not-
point it's more of a culture thing because you look at a guy like Steve Jobs, he lived that life of being minimalistic on purpose, and he did bring up a good point as to why he did it. That it just removed the thought of like, what am I gonna wear today? And when you're that productive, I think those seconds are valuable to the person, to where they don't like that to them is wasted time. So I know what I'm wearing. I'm always wearing a turtleneck. I'm always wearing jeans, and I'm always wearing the same white shoes. So it's just like throw it on and go. Like
I
there's
like how he like had to like, yeah, if I'm gonna wear the same thing like every year, every day, I'm gonna go with a turtleneck.
hey, it's
Like,
versatile, bro. You're cold, pull that shit up. You're hot, just roll it down.
I guess.
It's kind of like a hoodie. That's why I love hoodies, because you're hot, just roll up the sleeves a little bit. You're cold, just throw on that bitch on and roll down the sleeves. You easy.
Bro, I will get roasted when I will come to school with a hoodie on, but then I'm wearing shorts. It's like, make up your mind. Like, why are you cold, but you're
Me
also
too.
hot? And I'm just like, oh, I, I'm just like
but
that.
a hoodie's like a convertible.
Yeah.
You can
True.
have the top on or off.
Very
Yeah.
true.
And then if you want to just strip it away, you take it off and put it on your waist. And then you have like a whole nother like fashion like moment going on right there.
More of a throwback kind of look.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or and then you want it to be cool, you will put just the hood on, and then you flap it like it's a cape, and now you're a superhero.
I
Like
Right?
think
that.
I think that was more of a, oh shit, I'm running late. I don't want to carry this thing.
No, it was those kids that would like put them on, and they'll be they'll be like
Look,
running.
you see the walls come down too.
Chaotic energy.
Oh my god! But that was them, dude. Give me a second.
You always got a lot of chaotic energy going on.
You know how like in like movies and cartoons, I'll have like a room or like all four walls just go vroom, and they're like in the middle of the desert. Like
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
happened.
Yeah. All right, fix it.
Why didn't you just say Naruto running? I think we would have got the message.
I'm
But
I'm
like,
a I'm a visual learner, so I have to show it to you guys.
um, yeah, but I guess 2 seconds. I mean, I'd probably just use those 2 seconds in my pooping. So,
Yeah.
Oh my
um,
god.
I mean, like that.
but
That.
it's. I guess it's wherever it's fitting. Because I mean, you're defending minimalism, but then you just said you like the Bad Bunny album cover, and I don't believe that's minimalist.
Oh,
So it's like
I'm just saying, like
it.
maybe the reasons why they're doing it, because some people do like the like just wearing one thing, just because, like, for example, like you, like it's more of a money thing. But some people just don't like to think about clothes. Like it's not a non-factor to them. Like
Yes.
it's just like whatever. If they could have like a box, a cardboard box, and just pick random shit to wear, like they would wear everything and anything, not even color matching, because they just like don't really care.
So couldn't you have like a lot of eccentric clothes and just randomly pick it if that's the thought process?
Yeah, but then again, it's like, why waste the money when like solid color shirts are cheaper. But even then, I did like dive into that minimalist like rabbit hole, and I found a YouTuber whose his whole channel is dedicated on being like a minimalistic guy. And it's very interesting because like the polar opposite of what I was just saying about like maybe just being a money thing, like this guy was buying expensive clothes, but it was like all the same, like expensive shirt, like the same expensive 130 dollar t-shirt. And he had 5 T-shirts of like 3 different colors, either black, gray, or white, I think. But there, like, he had 15 shirts. He had like 5 different pairs of jeans, 2 shorts for the gym, like 5 pairs of socks, 5 pairs of underwear, and it was funny. It was interesting to see like why, and like his whole thing, like his thing as to why he became a minimalist. It was more of a discipline thing. Like he said, he went through a time of his life like where he was very chaotic energy, and so he needed to like bring himself to a more focused lifestyle. So his whole house is minimalist. Like he has just like it's him and his wife, so they only have 2 cups, 2 bowls, like 2 spoons, 2 forks. Like everything's very minimal. And I mean, if that's what worked for him, like, like, more power to him. I think it's too extreme. It's not my thing, but it's like it's just interesting to see that there's someone like that out there. It's cool to see, and you need that kind of people to be like, okay, that can work, but let's maybe like bring it down a notch. Maybe not just have a solid color.
That's my beef.
Mm-hmm.
Personal. It's just like that. The going. It's not. There's no gray areas, so to speak. It's like either you're full chaotic or you're full minimalist. But it's like, how about like you just be like tailor some things down and other things be out. Like, why is it gotta be one or the other? Like okay, I can understand dressing simply, but I mean you don't gotta live your life completely like that. Like it's
Yeah.
just for me, it's just boring. That's boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what I
I
was
get
gonna
I
say
get
earlier,
bored.
that I wear like you guys have noticed that I wear just black or gray for the most part. I do wear colors, but not too much. But my whole wardrobe is black tees or gray tees. But I do like the graphic stuff. So it's still always within the same theme of
There's
like
a
black
balance.
t-shirts. Yeah,
Yes.
like black
Yeah.
t-shirts, gray t-shirts, but I really like the graphic stuff. So,
So like say like someone who has like a game collection or like like Funko Pop collection or whatever, like so you're not gonna it just seems boring like when you see those houses that are just flat. It's just there's nothing in it.
Hmm.
Like I personally would have been like, fuck, I need to see something. Like I need the aesthetic there. Like the minimalist life is not for me. Um Clothing wise, I get it. Simple, but I get bored easy. So like with music, if it's too minimalist, I can't. I'm just like, what am I listening for?
yeah.
Not necessarily what to, but why am I listening to this? Um, that's just not me.
Interesting.
Like I'd rather have like one of those like 100-piece orchestras than just kick and bass.
Ooh, what if it was 100-piece orchestra, but they were like all clarinets, so it's still minimalist.
Like why?
And you just have a bunch of Squidwards playing
Like more than
solitude
more than 10 should be outlawed everywhere.
and
You don't need that many clarinets.
dude.
Bro, what about banda?
If we ever go to war,
Just
dude, if
one.
we ever go to war, like the battlefield happens in the US, we should send out just a bunch of clarinets as like our battle like cry. That's like our horn.
Or haka, or what's it called? Uh,
Haka.
yeah, haka, right?
But it's
Just
just
a
everyone
just a
playing
bunch of
like
dudes with clarinets. Just
and you
just
know, like I don't know if anyone's ever played it, but there's like the A note. It's like that little. It's right here. So a lot of people, like when they're first learning clarinet, they're just like spamming it. So they're just like walking down the battlefield, just
No, 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 no. The best part is all the squeaking you're gonna hear.
oh yeah,
That's the
dude.
best part.
See, let's just send a bunch of fifth graders learning the clarinet, and that's like it's gonna like hurt like the enemy's ears. They're gonna be like, I can't handle this, and just run
Dude,
away.
that's cruel. That should be banned
that's
worldwide.
that's
Like
nightmare fuel, bro. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to sleep.
Well, another thing they should do is just send out a bunch of trombones, and then just put like whatever tank we have to make it like more scary, just have a bunch of trombones in the background going like. Because you know,
I
with the
thought
trombone, you can make like that, like you're fucking accelerating. We should just add that. Like, what the fuck? Why is this tank coming at me here, sounding like a Honda like Civic?
I have a better idea. Give the people we're fighting a bunch of trombones and tell them to do trombone suicides.
On the like,
They'll take themselves out. I never wanted to do those. Hell no, not with our group. Not with our group. I didn't trust you, Yuli. I didn't trust Richard.
Is that the
I didn't
choreograph
trust
shit?
Brandon.
The choreograph stuff with the trombones?
Yeah. We're like one's going this way while the other one's ducking, and it's like it has to be like no, I'll skip.
we could have done it.
Brandon already like hit me in the back of the head during a field show, like in the heat, just went bah.
That was my favorite part.
I yelled at him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So for the people who don't know what trombone suicides are, I'm gonna put it up on my screen.
You playing a video?
Yeah. It's called a trombone section suicide routine.
We could have done them, dude.
Let's fast forward. So the people know what we're talking about. This is trombone suicides, and I can see why you wouldn't trust it.
It's a timing issue. All you have to do is just be slightly. It could be your fault. It could be the other person's fault. All you need is for it to be slightly off, and you're getting a trombone like slide to the face.
Ooh, you're right, dude. And then knowing my Russian ass, I'm gonna like come in before we start. You're like,
you're gonna go. You're gonna go. No, skip. And Richard wanted to do it, and I was like, nope, not doing it. If you guys are doing it, go ahead, but I'll be on the other side of the field.
Ooh, clarinet sides, and they're just like. It was just like funny because their mouth is here, but like you know how it points down, so they gotta be like. But Sousa sides.
Dude, you're just gonna hear.
I wonder if that's a thing. Hold on.
I think so because like since the bow's right here and you can like go down and move side, it's just like it's more of a full body thing now. At that point, you're just like doing this.
So, okay, well, think about it. If you're going to the side, how are you?
Oh my god, it's a thing. It's a thing.
Or you like swing the bell and then like.
It's a thing.
What is it?
Well, this one's a tuba trombone suicide line, and it's tuba trombone trombone tuba trombone trombone tuba.
But is it a sousaphone or is it the?
Yeah,
like
it's a sousaphone.
Like the one that they wrap around,
Yes.
or is it the one
Yeah. It's a sousaphone.
What are the other ones? Are the other ones just the ones on your shoulder? Are they just
contrabass.
straight up tubas?
They're
Contrabass.
tubas. Yeah, contrabass tubas.
Yeah. I don't know. You march tuba. I never had the desire to do so.
Really? It's fun, dude. Your shoulder gets fucked up. That's why, like, if you ever notice, I'm like this. Just because holding it down. No, I'm just kidding. But just holding it down. Can you see my trap? But it's fun. It's just you're in this little like nest, this little cocoon of a tuba, and you're just there. You got to do your thing.
I'd rather do a sousaphone than a contrabass for sure.
Oh yeah.
Contrabass look cooler though. They sound
They
cooler.
look cool,
Bro,
but like look uncomfortable. I can feel my hands falling asleep halfway through the second movement. Like I could already, and then you can't put your hands down. How do you do this?
Just fucking randomly. The fucking Windows like power down sound. Blam 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 blam.
No. If like at the end of a field show, just having your hands like this was like, God, doing this was so great. Like if you're always like this, like what is the rest position for contrabass?
I never thought about that for you guys as trombones.
No, I think I saw a DCI band. Like they actually had them like set like here, and they just have to like hold up.
No, bro, I never thought about that.
That's not fun at all.
That looks
That's
horrible.
not fun at all. Why would it, like you're like if anything, I'd be like, let me play again. I don't want to be in rest and have to hold
Yeah.
it like this. Hell no.
Oh, dude,
Nope.
I never. Okay, so I was a saxophone player, right? We had neck straps, so I was chilling. My set was just having it like this, and I would just let it dangle from the neck strap, and then just playing. It was just this, so I was fine. But I never thought about like trombones. Yeah, I can see your fucking shoulders just burning up.
You
But
well because and you had to snap it, so you
yes,
had to hit your shoulder to go ga,
yeah.
right? But even like if you're not used to it having like this, after a while, you're like, wow, my arms are pretty heavy.
Mm-hmm.
See, but
Um,
and then contrabass tuba. I'm gonna put a picture of what they look like. I never thought of you being at set like this. Oh my god.
and then having to snap it back up and then bring it down,
There's
right?
some. I was gonna say there's some that I've seen where they will have it on the floor, right? And like the set, they have to do like a three move thing. So it'll be like duh, 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 duh. So like you put it in time. So it's like more of a instead of a snap, it's like a one, So they're not like holding it here. But like there's some that I've seen you're here and you're just like, no, please, and it's like burning.
This is what a contrabass looks like. Oh, this is what they look like. They're they're big. They're heavy. They are unnecessarily ginormous, and this is what having a contrabass tuba on set looks like, and this is what we're talking about.
Yeah, but dude, your biceps after that just
It's biceps, it's shoulders, because it's the shoulders are what's keeping it up,
Mhm.
Right here,
right?
this right here does not look fun. See, like
Nope.
at least this boy looks he looks a little yoked, like he's been hitting the gym. But
You got
a regular band dweeb would have a hell of a time doing that.
But you know who
right.
else I felt bad for were the Barry sax players when they will march. Just because like it's awkward having like your hand here and then your hand here. But then Limon, like at one point, Alondra Cerrone, she was playing sax, marching it. But then like she'll have it here on the side because that's where you naturally want to put it. But Limon's like, no, you have to have it here.
Oh
So
yeah,
imagine
for
with the
set.
Barry like trying to march, but it's like
Yeah,
dangling in between your legs. Fuck, dude.
yeah.
I mean, at least like the one I thought I didn't really think of until I saw it was like French horns.
Mm-hmm.
Because in my mind, when I first thought French horns, I thought the ones like that where you put
Yeah, yeah,
this,
yeah. Uh-huh.
but then the marching one is basically like a fat trumpet,
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Because I mean, having and especially since the bell's facing backwards,
Yeah.
and they're always telling us to project. In my head, I was like, yo, dude, like
Just march
I
backwards.
felt bad. I felt bad. March backwards.
Just
I felt
project,
bad.
dude. Just project.
But going back to the contrabass, the Yuli, you were saying the slow, uh, like from the floor here up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're gonna be rocking the contrabass, you should. It needs to be a snap. No, I feel like those just it just looks cooler when everyone's just like full
Mm-hmm.
instead of like
Yeah.
it just looks
Even
cooler. When
what I always liked about the sousaphones too when they're on set, it's not even like crazy, like going from down here all the way up. It's like you have it here, but then just with the bow and the reflection, it hits you just like, phew, like you see it just snapping it because not that crazy of a move we have to do. But
couldn't you guys just do like what guitarists do when they like throw their guitar and it goes like all the way around?
uh,
Couldn't you do that with the
we
sousaphone?
no we've done that.
Boom! I
We've
feel
done.
like that should have been in the field show or something.
What I always wanted to try to do was hold two sousaphones on top of each other. So have one here and then the other one on the other, and
It was
just
like
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 you
a.
flip the bow. It just
I was thinking of one on top of the other.
oh no, it wouldn't work. So you have to like put one on this shoulder and then try to rap the other one, but like it wouldn't. Like there's no physical way.
Also, you'd be like a two-neck guitar.
Yeah, dude, and you're just like
You're like
just playing around like
it's wait, where are the buttons? If like the
that.
mouthpiece is here, where are the buttons?
Right
Here.
here. Yeah.
Okay. So then you're like this.
So because you can move the mouthpiece, right? There's like a little neck.
Mm.
So you move the neck, so it's always on here. So then you're just like,
Do they sound different? I mean, is there a reason why you have two tubas?
just like I could be known as the tubinator. And I'm just there like,
Like one of them has a mute, so at least it's like there's a reason.
yeah, giant ass like bucket you gotta put in there. That's the mute.
A
No, but
plunger.
then you gotta take it out.
A plunger.
And you just hear.
A plunger, fool. A big ass plunger.
Hello.
Hey, the mutes like on a trombone, I was always scared of because I was always afraid I was gonna rip the cork out. So, like for people who don't know, it's like these like mutes. They're like these cone shaped thingies, right? There's cork at the end of them, and you basically just stick them into the bell of
How?
you should just you really oh no, it's more like a twist.
Yeah, it's
No
one of
wait,
these.
you twist it?
Yeah,
A
yeah.
little
They
bit.
will say
What?
not to, but like you just, it's a little just like, just get it in
Because
there.
you don't want to mess up the cork. That's what's going in.
But then that's when you did one of these. So this is the horn, the bell. You go. I don't think
like
you ever
kind of
did anything,
right.
but like you'll just catch the trombones or the trumpets.
You're right. You're right. I forgot about that. Because you had those. You had
Those are the cut mutes, the
covered.
ones with the cork cut mute.
Yeah.
Then you
Then
have
we
the
had the
bucket mute.
one.
Those were like, I think I had a cork too at the end.
Did you ever use the little hoods to put around the bell?
Yeah. I have one. Oh, well, not in my room, but in my old room.
Because we would wear them like berets.
Yeah. I have them too.
And then the plunger.
See, mutes for saxophones were these $1,200 like coats that you would put over the saxophone, and it had like the holes for your hands, and then you just zipped it up. Zip. And that's
So
what
you
a mute
just
for a saxophone is.
you just put it in its case.
Yes, but with holes in it for your hands.
What the heck?
Yes,
Like
they were like they were more for like practicing indoors, like if you had roommates and shit, or you're in a place where you really couldn't practice out loud.
Oh, that's right, because like the sound still comes out of the buttons. Like you can't
Yes.
just block the neck.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can't even. Can you see what I'm holding?
yeah.
How to make this?
There you
So
go.
like, so just imagine like a mouthpiece coming out here, and you're just
Yeah, like that.
like, okay.
That's exactly what it looked like. And
Do you have a sax?
I have two.
No,
of them.
it's
Oh, him.
Oh, I see.
His trombone.
it's a. I haven't um I haven't opened that thing in like 2-3 years.
Since our last cumbia gig.
Yes, actually, that was probably the last time I used it.
Bro, what's crazy is that when you were going to school, they wanted to. Well, you were going to go to school to be a producer, but they're like, nah, I need you to. Part of your requirement is to take like trombone lessons
Yeah.
to be a producer.
Yeah, they want so like part of the criteria, the A through G requirements, if you will.
hmm
I needed to take private lessons, right? So I was like, cool. I'll I talked to a professor about it, and he's like, yeah, private lessons for composition, it's easy. It's pretty much like it's kind of hard to just come into the music lab and go into a practice room and practice composition. So you kind of just like come here and do your homework because basically what we had to do was we had to spend a certain amount in the music lab as part of our requirement, like for our class, right? So you had to go, you had to check in, and it would count how long you've been in there. When you leave, you clock back out. There's ways around it. Obviously, you can clock in, go to class, come back, clock out, right? There's things like that. But in general, that's just kind of what you did.
hmm
Um, and you had to have like a certain amount of hours by the end of the semester, like 100 hours or something.
Okay.
Um, and he was like, "Well, since you're doing composition, it's kind of hard to like practice composition in a practice room. You kind of just do it.
Mhm.
Uh, so you just do it like that, yeah." And I was like, "Okay, cool. You're supposed to do 4 semesters." And I was like, "All right, but we usually advise you do 2 semesters of an instrument and then two composition." I'm like, "Why?" It's like, "Well, it's not that you get the experience. The experience for what? I'm not gonna be doing trombone like and any other instrument. Like I'm not proficient enough to like. I wanted to do trombone if I had to because I could actually read it. Like
Mhm.
I was actually like trained in it. Like guitar and piano, like I couldn't read music on it. It was more of a feel.
Mhm.
But I was like, okay, I can read music on a trombone, but I was like, I don't know why I would need to do that.
Mhm.
But so I didn't because I didn't take any of those lessons mainly because they didn't let me in. Didn't let me in. Because they would always choose other people because they would always have like, oh, we only have like 2 spots. And this person's been here for 4 semesters, so we'll let them in. You can try next semester. But I got that answer like every time, so I gave up. And then when I when I was doing like my auditions to transfer, again, I was transferring as like technically it was under composition in multimedia,
Mhm.
right? So all the requirements were okay, you need to compose 3 pieces, um, write out a score, which is basically the sheet music. And then we'll do an interview, and at least that's what I had read.
Mhm.
Unfortunately for me, I didn't keep reading and realized that I had to audition on an instrument for some reason. Um, I didn't find out about this until 3 months before my auditions.
Mhm.
And I hadn't played for a cool 2 years, right? And if you're a brass instrument player of any kind, you realize that the chops, if you're not playing regularly, will go away. It's not riding a bike. It doesn't come to you right away. Um, that's probably the hardest part of relearning how to play the instrument is your embouchure because this gets tired real fast. Um, and I was like, cool. I have to get my embouchure back, relearn how to play the trombone, and learn. Oh, I had to learn 2 pieces, two full what was it like etude and a sonata. I had to learn. I had to relearn like all my scales, remember how to play them.
Mhm.
I had to be ready for sight reading, which I wasn't good at when I was actually playing, let alone after my hiatus.
Yeah.
Um, and it was honestly like, so I was like, okay, I got 3 months to relearn everything. Um, and then like when I saw that, it's because I got emails that they were like, oh, we need you to submit what songs you'll be playing, and I'm like, what do you mean? What songs am I playing? Like, what are you talking about? It's like, yeah, we'll need you to come in and play some pieces. And I was like, composition. It's like, yeah, yeah, the composition majors do that too. And I was like, when do you guys need them? The deadline's in like 2 days. So I was like, uh, um, I don't even know what I can play. So I basically, I went to Samash. I got the Roshut book, which if you're a trombone player, you'll know exactly what that is. And
Mhm.
I got a random book, and I was like, all right, I submitted the 2 pieces. Didn't know if I was gonna be able to play them or not, but I was like, fuck it, I don't got time. Um, and I went to work those 3 months to just get it all back.
Yeah.
And shit because the actual audition was garbage. Like say like the piece was like 2 full pages. I only played a quarter of one, and that's it.
That's usually how they go.
And then they were like, "Oh, you need to learn all 12 major scales and all 12 minor scales," and I only played like one, and they let me pick. So I'll just play F, and that's it.
That's
I
how
was
they
like,
get you, dude.
I'm like, Dick, I did all this boot camp for 3 months for this, right? And then like, I think the worst audition I had was at Northridge. for CSUN.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because what I had to do was basically it was the playing audition and then an interview.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, I was the only one that they did interview first, then the playing audition. Now, the problem with that is I get no warm up, no nothing. So I
Mm-hmm.
went into my audition cold,
Oof, the
completely cold.
worst. The worst.
So I practiced a little bit, I warmed up and everything, but then I had to go to do an interview, which was like 20, like it took 20 minutes, not the interview itself, but like waiting for other people to do their interviews.
Mm-hmm.
And then one dude lagged it. So by the time I came back down, my horn was just cold. My eye was cold, and they were like, "Okay, we need you to do your audition now." And I was "Bro, like, I'm if you were thinking like hands, like I had to go like just crack them all because they were all stiff again."
Oof.
Um, but I explained it to the judges, so they were pretty easy on me. I got accepted, so I mean, I guess it worked out. Um, now I didn't go there because it was too far.
Yeah, Northridge. You know, dude, my cousin used to drive from. They live in Bow Maywood, so think of like maybe Huntington Beach,
Mhm.
and he would drive all the way to Northridge for class and drive all the way back. Like, bro, that's so far.
One thing I will say though, since I was way better at like theory,
Mm-hmm.
when I had to play, I'll admit in high school when I played my scales, I thought numbers, I thought the positions,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like on a trombone, there's seven positions, and typically like the wrong way to really think about it is think of it in those positions, right? And that's how I always thought of it. I always thought like one, two, three, four. But when I had to basically do that boot camp, um, I wasn't thinking of it like that. I was actually thinking of the notes themselves,
That's the way to
and
go.
I just happened to know where the notes were, and I was like, "Oh, this is what Limon was talking about. This is what he was talking about. Understanding the notes,
Yeah,
not just the positions. It's like if you're on a guitar and you're not thinking." You shouldn't be thinking first fret, second fret, third fret. Like you should be thinking like the notes themselves, right? It's kind of
Right.
like that. I
See
was
that
it
hearing that is funny for me because we have six major buttons. Yeah, six major
Mhm.
buttons. I never thought of it as like playing like one, two, three, four, five, six. I never thought of it that way. It was always like C, C B A G F E D. Fuck, I still remember that. That's cool. And then like you had all your pinky keys, your low C, your fucking your lower B's, and then like I never. That's funny that you say that because I guess it does make sense for a trombone player to think of scales that way as more of patterns, like number patterns, like two, three, four, five, six, seven,
Mhm.
rather than like the actual notes. That's interesting. That's funny.
and I get it because back in the dark ages when I played clarinet,
Oof.
I thought in notes. I never thought like what you're saying. I thought of like if I thought of B,
Right.
I thought B,
Right.
right? But in well, specifically trombone because it's a slide. There's no buttons. It's kind of just it's a certain area.
Right.
So
position.
it's a position. It's just like there's no defined like a two could be here. It could be slightly here. It could be slightly here. Um, so you just kind of started thinking of it as two, three, and then not to mention because there's only seven positions, but there's this thing called like lip partials. So one could be you can go really high, you can go really low. Um, so I don't know. It's just that's just how you thought of it, especially when you were learning it. You would learn B flat is one, right? But unfortunately, you wouldn't learn B flat. You would learn one,
Mm-hmm.
right? C is six. You wouldn't learn C. You would learn six. So you wouldn't go B flat C. You would go one six. That was the thought
Mm.
process behind it. And then like in what I'm assuming in like valve instruments, it was kind of similar thing, right?
I was gonna say, to top you off, I learned trombone by learning them as valve positions. So that's how I first started learning trombone, because I started as a tuba player. So I knew these like in the back of my head. So now going from trombone, like I don't know whoever else is a low brass like player who specifically did like a valve tuba or euphonium to trombone. Like there's something on Twitter that someone's like, I don't know if it's just me, but like when I see or when I think of 5 times 5 equals 25, I think of Friday. And I related to that. I was like, whoa, like yeah, like I think of that. Like 5 times 5 equals 25 correlates to Friday. And then 7 times 3 equals 21 correlates to Wednesday. Why? I don't know, but like I always did. And then when someone on Twitter posted that, I was like, bro, like I thought this was just me this whole time. So now like for tuba, like 1 and 2, I will always either think D or G, because those are the two positions for those two notes. But 1 and 2 are always correlated to 4,
Or
because that's D and G on the horn or on the trombone. So I learned them more as okay. So
so
D and G.
as
Oh,
you're playing, you're seeing this.
yes, I'm seeing this. So I was like, okay. So if I'm here, like first, second, third, fourth, I'm thinking open, two, and then if I go to third position, I'm thinking one, because dude, it was a mess. And then like I knew Limon in his head, he was like blowing up because like, dude, how is this kid like out here? Like he's still playing good, but like just the way he's thinking. And it
Question.
Yeah.
wasn't until I went to Idlewild when I finally like, you know what? Okay, I'm hearing this jazz like thing. Let me learn, like let me get this down. And for like a week of just like doing it, like I finally like learned, all right, positions, no more valves, no more. Like let me learn the
No.
notes, and they just happen to be in this position.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Bro, it's just weird,
Why?
dude.
Like, okay, you're making something that is not complicated the most complicated you can make it.
Exactly, but that was just because for some reason, I refused. Not because like I wanted to. I was just afraid of learning the theory, like actually learning, like spelling out like a C major chord.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's too easy. But like say like an A flat major,
Yeah.
like some will see that as hard if you're like a beginner.
Yeah.
And for some reason, like I would refuse to like actually know the theory, and I will always like memorize it. Like okay, trial and error, like this is the muscle memory of just going from here to here. So A flat, B flat, C, D flat, E flat. I knew it more as muscle memory, so I wouldn't even know like what I'm playing. I just know my hand needs to do this.
I okay. I started thinking of something. So it's
Uh,
like if you know the theory, like let's say on a trombone,
That's funny.
you're in first position, okay? If you're thinking theory, this note, this position could be B flat, it could be F, it could be the octave B flat, it could be a D, it could be the octave F, or if you're going down, it could be a B, it could be F, it could be B again, it could be a D. Like it's you're thinking these notes
mhm.
versus you're just thinking one.
You're all in one, but this
It's
one
one.
position can play all these notes, especially going up, because
Oh,
you could
okay.
go say B middle B flat, like what is it, B flat four. If you start going, oh yeah, right, B flat four is under middle
Mhm.
C. So
Yes.
then
Yes.
B flat, F, uh, and then you could play A flat, which is usually I correlate it to third position, but up there in that register, it's in first. And then A flat, B flat, and then C are all like one, like pretty much like an interval away. They're all in first position. They're just you just have to. It's my head hurts, dude.
So if you're right, so if first position correlates to all those notes, it's just easier to think of it as
It's
it's less
one.
intimidating to just think one,
Right.
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
So I
I
think that's
understand that.
why
Yeah.
I think that's why and the thing is like no you're not taught that way. That's just how you
Learn it. It's like
learn it.
yeah.
And I
Your
think that's why. I
intuition.
think cuz like if you're thinking all these different notes, it could get overwhelming. But if you think there's only 7 positions,
Mm-hmm.
all I have to remember is 1, 3, 4, 2, 1.
Mm-hmm.
That's easier than thinking what
Yeah.
note could it be? I don't know,
And
but I know
then
it's 1, 3, 4, 2, 1.
yeah, and then there's some kids like, okay, I'm playing four, but it doesn't. They keep telling me it's the wrong note. So now I have to move my lips to instead of playing a D, but I'm supposed to be playing a G.
That
But I'm in fourth position. Why is it not sounding like a G?
okay.
Now,
So as a brass player, then that makes sense why your guys' ears were so good, because you had to know what note had to come out from that position.
yeah.
Like, cause like for example, like right now I'm thinking like sight reading. Holy fuck! As a
Mm-hmm.
saxophone player, it's like you see an A, the fucking A's right here. You see a G, G's right here. You see an F, F is right here. E, D, like it's easy. You guys, like this position, it can either be D, it can either be E, it can either be A, G, F. It can be almost all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like at least like four, like five out of like all the notes. So sight reading must have been a bitch as a brass player.
Yeah, because the trombone is a good instrument that kind of like you could correlate it to your voice. Because your voice has certain registers where like if you try to go high enough, it cracks.
Right.
And that's the same thing with the trombone. So if you start all the way at the end and you go up, like once you get to first position, it doesn't keep going up unless you change it with like change registers by moving the partial with your like embouchure. So
Right.
now you have to like voice crack or like you have to like so say if I'm going you hear that crack. The same thing happens to your trombone. So now you have to like
Adjust.
readjust your voice to now start at that new like
It's
partial.
almost like shifting gears.
Yeah, you have to shift gears.
Right. Yeah.
Essentially,
That's why we can always make that joke with the trombone. Like that's like an easy
it's,
party trick.
it's exactly
Yeah, you change the gears.
Right.
it's
Dang.
essentially what's happening.
That's crazy. Cause yeah, when you're sight reading, you gotta know like
Also,
you gotta
if you
know.
don't if you don't know the notes,
Yeah.
sight reading is a bitch because you could think you're playing something right. You have
Yes.
no idea that you're
Right. That.
totally off.
Yeah. That. And that was my whole point, and that's what's like really fucking with me right now. Cause if you're reading a new piece, right, and you're a beginner, it's mostly for beginners. Cause once you're a veteran, like any musician, it doesn't matter. But like just starting like fresh, it's like okay, like for example, G, I don't know fucking trombone, but let's assume that G is like on the first position, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you're in your head, you're thinking, okay, I know this is a G, it's first position, but then you just blow on it and it's completely not a G. So then you got to think like, fuck, what is a G? So now you got to sing it in your head. So it's kind of like you're forced to sing and know what you're gonna play before you actually play it, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to where a woodwind, we could just play it without having to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, let's say there was 4 trombone players and there was all unison, and it's like it's B flat, A B flat. So that if you're thinking in positions, that's 1 1 2 2 1,
Yeah.
right? And you go, okay, you 4, you're playing unisons, play. They play,
Oh
but they don't sound unison.
no.
Sounds off. All right, here we go down the line. Down the line was the worst shit ever because
I just got nightmares, dude.
you didn't know what you were doing. You were about to get called out. You were about to be embarrassed. So you go, all
Oh,
Yeah.
right, fine, let's go.
that is
Uh,
so funny.
okay. Okay. No, 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 no. Ah, there it is.
That was the worst,
I'm
dude.
playing 1 1 2 2 1. Yeah, but you're not playing in the right partial. You're not in the right gear.
Ah, fuck all
All
that,
right,
bro.
you. Okay, so the problem was you. Okay, fix your shit. You suck.
I know,
Essentially, how
and
that
then they
went.
would never help us fix it. They're like, "You played it wrong. Like, hurry up.
Fix it.
Like, stop playing
Yeah.
it wrong." Ugh, that was
Damn.
always the
That,
worst.
That's rough.
the worst. If you were in band or are in band, the scariest words that could possibly come out of like an instructor's mouth is, "All right, let's go down the line."
Yes.
The scariest word, because if you got your shit down, which usually it was the older members,
Yeah.
easy peasy,
Yeah.
easy peasy. But if you're starting out, if you're one of those freshmen or one of those soft, down the line was the scariest moment of your life.
Yeah, by my junior year, I had most of my shit down. I got called out maybe like a handful of times, as a junior and senior, because I had my shit down. But yes, freshman and sophomore year, it was the worst because it's like, all right, let's go one by one, and for some fucking reason, they always started left to right, and I sat
That's true.
all the way at the left. So it's like, all right, you go first. So now, then I got in my head, I was like, fuck, am I the one that's fucking it up? So even if I had it right, I got in my head of like, oh fuck, it was me. I played it wrong. How do I play it? How does this go? So then when I got called out, even though I knew it because I got nervous and in my head I fucked it up, and they're like, oh, like fix your shit. And then I just dug myself deeper into the fucking hole because I was like, fuck, I could have listened. If he would have started down that way, I could have like been like, okay, no, yeah, I'm playing it right.
Mm-hmm.
It was more of a confidence issue.
See, similar idea but opposite. Because if you're a trombone player, the if you, the way it would happen is the same way. It would go, what you say, left to right.
Yeah, left to
So
right.
like second
Stage
trombone.
stage
So
left to right.
you would go second trombone, first trombone, third trombone was always the noob of the trombone
Yeah, yeah,
section.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, whoever played third was the worst of that section. Not to say that they are the worst players, that they're bad, but out of this section, usually third man, that was the newbie of the group.
Right.
And then you had your bass bone, right? For me, when I played third, it was like second bone is playing it right. First bone is playing it right. I realized that I wasn't playing it right. So now it's like
Oh.
now not only does do the bones know, not only does Limon know, now the whole room knows what it's supposed to sound like. And then when you listen to what I was playing, which was not right,
Right.
it stands out way more because now you have something to compare it to.
Right.
So that I thought of it like that, but that's because when I did get called out is again it was freshman sophomore.
Yeah.
I was in that spot. So you usually had good players play it first,
Mhm.
and then you're like, okay, cool. Now we have something to compare you to, right? Which was awful. But luckily, just pretty much it was once you're a junior or senior, you have your shit down.
Yeah, I remember
'Cause-
sectionals were glorious for me because junior and senior year anyway, because at that point I had my shit down already. So, well, I kind of. I had my shit more or less down.
You would like to think.
Yes. So it was like Barry sax, second tenor, lead, second alto, first tenor, right? Usually the Barry, well, my senior and junior year, it was like a freshman sophomore Barry player, and then it was freshman sophomore tenor player, my junior senior my same class alto sax, and then and in this case it should have been sophomore freshman second alto, but it was a senior. It was Christian.
Mhm.
So it was like bad, bad, okay, okay, okay,
Mhm.
and I do remember I don't it was awful because I never typically got like picked off, but when I did fuck up, I would like get it because it's like, oh, I don't get you often, motherfucker, so I'm gonna get you now. So it was like super like extra embarrassing, so that kind of motivated me to not get called out.
What it's a humility thing.
Yes.
It a freshman year is you see who is okay with criticism and who's not.
Mhm.
Because if you don't like getting called out, is usually the people who would drop band. Um, and if anyone who stayed was like, all right, you guys, generally most freshmen are trash. Most. There are exceptions, but for the most part, they're trash. You
Now,
have to realize the thing is there's some. I knew there was one freshman who dropped because he was like, "I'm garbage. I'm trash. I'm not good." And I'm like,
That's the
"Show
point.
me how many freshmen are good." Like usually there's like maybe one in your whole class that's actually good, but it's that's kind of expected, right? And when you get called out, it's like you go one of two ways. You can either go, you know what, fuck this, I'm done, I'm out of here,
yeah,
or you go, um, I don't want to get called out again. I'm gonna get my shit together. That's what happened to me
yeah, same.
because I got called out playing trombone. I That was essentially my second year playing it, and the first year I didn't really learn. I was in at Grandview. I was in middle school. Um, but I was never really taught how to play a trombone. I kind of just made noises. Again, I knew the position. Oh, here's another thing. For the positions in your music, you would write the numbers over the notes. So
Mm,
you would see the note and correlate it to the number and not the letter of the note, not the name of the note. You would correlate it with the number. So that also didn't help.
Hmm.
I
Um,
see.
but in middle school, I was never called out. No one ever really noticed because we had at least one solid trombone player who would basically cover everyone else. But if you soloed us out, we'd essentially just be like, it didn't sound like anything we were supposed to play, but it was like whatever. It's middle school. When I went to high school, I still had that same technique, um, which was weirdly enough frowned upon, I guess. They didn't like the technique of fru 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 fru. Um, and I got called out. It was one of those like that was real shitty because there was like a bunch of people I didn't know, a bunch of like upperclassmen, and I just got like annihilated in front of the whole class. And that was the last time really. Um, Other missteps, but once you get to like junior senior, it's more of like play louder, play softer,
Yeah,
articulate it more.
right.
It's kind of more nuanced, more nitpicking.
Yeah,
I don't remember getting called out for not knowing my shit. It was more so like I need you to play louder or you're overpowering. Um, I need you to play that a little cleaner, but it was never like I just didn't know my shit.
yeah. Let me add like the base layer of the cake. Now let me add another layer on top of it. When you got called out, you were playing it wrong, and then they were like, "Play it again." No, that was wrong. Play it again. You're still playing it wrong. Play it again.
That
We're
must
we're
be a
we're, ge-
Limon thing.
we're gonna sit here. We're gonna sit here and play it over and over until you get it right. Yes, it was a limon thing, and
Immediately the way you said it, his face popped into my brain. I knew
he
exactly who you're talking about.
he was like, "Play it again." Nope, that's still not right. Play it again. Like, okay, then he'll be like, "Okay, stop, count it," and then you'll be like, "One and a two and a three and a," and then
Oh.
he's like, "Okay, you have the rhythm down. Now sing it. Okay, you can sing it. Now play it. You're still not playing it right. Play it again." And like that happened to me once, and it was with what song was it? Um, it was one of the funk charts that had a very like intricate saxophone like solo part.
Roost? Are you chicken?
Maybe Are You Chicken? Maybe Are You
Are you
Chicken?
chicken?
Yeah, and it had like
Um,
this.
ba- ba- da- 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 like was it that one? Was it the intro? Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was something in there. Like it was like we were like not for some reason. I think we heard someone play it wrong, and we assumed that that was right. So it kind of became like the whole section was playing it wrong together, and then he caught that mistake, and he's like, "Wait, you guys are all making the same mistake." But
That's
it
always the
sounded right.
craziest.
It sounded right because all of you were playing it wrong. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It was something along those lines, and so it was like he was going down the line, like play it again, and it's like like funk is very slow, usually like 80, 90 BPM, but it's 16 notes, so it's like 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and so it was like you had to count the and one and so that's the really fucky part with funk, and so it was like nope, do it again, nope, you're still playing it wrong, do it again, and I was like and I remember it took a long time to get that mistake out of our DNA. I think even at the even till the last festival, I think we played it wrong.
Yeah. That part's always crazy where it's like, as a collective, you guys didn't realize you were playing it wrong, but you were all playing it wrong together, and like
Yes.
no one ever noticed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's always
That's
I'm
funny.
funny.
still, I'm still mad at Limon because I wanted to play that berry part too.
Uh,
'Cause it was that was just the berry part, or at least the first time I think.
it was Barry and bass.
Right?
Yeah.
I wanted in on that, and he's like,
That's a
no, no, no,
that's a meaty
no,
part.
it's just for the berry stick. It's just for the berry stick.
Mhm.
Fuck you. I want to
Yeah.
play that
That's
Uh,
when jazz is boring. We're like, we have to play it like how it was played.
because all we got was hits,
mm.
But
just like random ass hits on the of three.
yeah, sometimes those could be cool. Like you can make a little dance move like we did. Dun 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 dun
All we did, right?
dun dun
Yeah.
dun dun
Oh
dun
no, my favorite part was right after it. The pads, yeah.
dun. Maybe we're lit.
I don't know. I don't know about you, but I would like lean back and like have my feet going like that.
Oh yeah, I did that too.
But it worked, especially for me because I was like all the way at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So if if the berry wasn't in front of me, it was usually like either the berry, right? The berry's here, and I would be like right here,
Offset to the side a little
or
bit.
if the berry was like more like if the saxes were more like arced, I'd have like room here. So so when I would like lean back and like have my feet floating up and shit like that, you can really see. But I that was one of my favorite parts just because we were stupid, and
Oh
I'm glad that Limon didn't tell us to stop
yeah, I think there's footage of that. Someone had put has it online on YouTube.
That's true.
because it,
We should react
yeah,
to it in
okay.
the future.
We should. Dude, I don't know, dude. Imagine hearing you're like you sounded like that.
Look, I haven't heard it since I think we played it, so I wonder how we actually sounded.
Here's one thing that I never realized until it was pointed out, and it was pointed out by Willie
Mm-hmm.
Murillo, that when we played, we looked like we were having fun because we were being idiots when every chance we got, we were being idiots, right? But we were like in it, we were into it. And when he pointed that out, I started watching other jazz bands, and I realized I'm like, yo, you guys are bored as fuck
Falling
because they
asleep.
were just like,
Yeah, cause that's why I hate it when Limon was like when we do like jazz festivals and stuff. Like, hey, stay for the bands, go watch the bands, and then like I hate it because like they were never fun to watch. Like the music's fun to listen to, but just watching it like that's a whole nother thing that people forget about, and you're just like falling asleep most of the time.
see, and you would have you would have times of rest, right, where you weren't playing.
Oh,
They would just stand there. They would just sit there, like,
not even the head nod.
right, and even you could tell they were like, right, and it was like, bro, after especially like there are some bands, and we did it at first. I don't think we did it our senior year. I don't know if we did it our junior year, but some bands play like the same song like for a full semester,
Hmm.
same four tracks. You're telling me that you don't know when to come in?
Yeah, for like 4 months, like playing the
Like
same song.
after I learned the song, not just my part, but the song in general, I'm like, okay, I have 30 bars of rest, but I know that the bass, or I know the drum comes in or whatever. Like I know the saxes come in a bar before I'm supposed to come in. So as soon as I hear the saxes, I'm like, okay, one, two, three, four, and I come in. I'm
Mhm.
not counting the rest of the time because there's no point.
It
Yeah.
like
I'll you find a cue to listen to. You're like, okay, he plays 2 bars before I come in. So as soon as he starts playing, I know I count 2 bars and not 30 bars.
okay.
Yeah.
I think that happens because they think of music very mechanically. They think of reading this piece
As
rather
a job.
than playing a song. Because
Yes.
when you're playing a song, when you're performing, you learn the song, you have it in your head, and it's like fucking turning on the radio and you can sing to the song that's playing right then and there because you know it. It's the same thing. Like you get on stage and you're playing, you know the song, you know your part, you know when you come in, you know when you're not playing, you know like oh, okay, this is a break, this is a solo, here come the backgrounds. You kind of know that already because you're feeling it. The other people are like glued to the paper. They're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, and it's
It
like
it's like they're stuck on the page.
yes, and I
They're
think,
not they're not listening to around it. They're just listening to their part.
and now I think that happens with the people who are not really who they're doing it more as an elective rather than because they want to do music, if that makes sense. Because I feel like some people did it because it would look good on their like what's that curriculum? Is that the word on the resume?
You're well a
And
well-rounded student,
yeah, yeah, it's
right?
kind of like oh, this person was in Renaissance. Oh, and they were in the jazz band of their high school and they went to competitions and got trophies. I feel like maybe that's how some people approached it, which is why they were more like mechanically like stuck to the paper. Right, because you could tell right away like the people who were in it to for the music, like Upland, the Upland Jazz Band. Like those guys were fucking monsters. Upland, what was the other one? West Ranch. Those kids were fucking killers out there. And then you could tell the bands that were like more classically inclined or that they were just not really interested. And it was like a huge difference. And I think that's why we got the compliment of like you guys look like you're having fun because most of us did enjoy being there.
Might be a classical because that seems like a classical music type of thing to do,
Yeah.
where it's like you're just kind of like you're on the page and you're just listening. You're just of the page, and I think it's like an analytical thing
Yeah.
that I mean we saw it firsthand when we were in one of the cumbia bands we were in. I'm
True.
not gonna say names, but we had a certain gentleman that saw cumbia totally different than the way we saw it. Right? We saw it like if someone told me, "Hey, I need you to learn this track," right? There's no sheet music for cumbia. You do it by ear, right? So I was thinking strictly by ear. Hell, fool, I didn't even think about what the name of the notes were. I was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
I'm like, I'm supposed to be playing no 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 no. So I played no 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 no. I didn't think of the notes. I didn't think of what key I
yeah.
was
A B B
in.
B C G.
I didn't think of the chord progression I was in. I didn't think do re mi fa sol la ti do. I didn't think of none of that until this one gentleman. He was like,
I remember your mind was so blown. You were like, I saw your head explode in front of me.
because I was like, we were playing a song and I hadn't learned it yet. And then the leader of the band was like, yeah, just figure it out right now. And I was like, I can't find the first note. And he's like, oh, dude, it's just the lay of the key. And I was like, you say the lay of the key? Like, what is it? Are we analyzing Bach right now? Like what are you talking about? This ain't Beethoven. Lame.
He was so triggered.
I was like, bro, it's like inconforme, dude. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what? It blew my mind because I was like, dude, like, I like, I saw, I especially like that kind of music. I just saw it as a vibe,
Yeah.
right? I just felt it as a vibe.
Hmm.
He was seeing like sheet music when he was playing, dude,
No,
and I
but
was like,
but the thing with those people, so we went like our whole, all right, learning it as a position. Okay, now learning it as a note, but now learning it as a letter, and then we finally got that down. And then we meet someone who learns it as a solfege, and you're just like, no, I just learned it as this, and now you're telling me you're seeing it as so re do instead of, and I'm just like, no. I was the same thing because I in my cumbia band that I was in, the leaders like because I grew up in Mexico, and then in Mexico they're taught by solfege instead of
oh,
like,
that's a, that's another mind fuck right there.
yeah. So then when you really think about it, you could correlate as long as you know the solfege, and like with them it's a fixed. So or do is always C. So like you just gotta like put them together and just think of it like correlate them. But then it's so much work when they're trying to explain stuff, and I'm like, dude, just tell me it's C, D, and E. I'm like, come on.
And like, so he says that, right? He's like, oh, it starts on the lay of the key. I'm like, bro, what's the key? I didn't even think of that. Like, I didn't even think this music had keys. Like, fuck, it's just. What would the bass be like? Like a standard cumbia bass line.
Fuck.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun, 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 dun. Right? I'm like, key, dude. It's like three notes. Like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? And I was like, bro, I never even once thought of it like that. Like, it never registered in my head. Like, I know exactly what you're talking about. I just never saw it through those lenses,
Yeah, yeah,
right? Like, like tell me, dude. Like, if you listen to, like, Vicente Fernandez, do you think of what key they're in, what the chord progression, what solfege he's singing in? Like, you don't think of it like that. You just fucking start belting out shit. You
yeah,
just start playing. You start singing. You just start belting it. Like, I was like, yo, dude. Like, I can tell you're from the paper, dude. You're from the sheets.
yeah,
Like, you're thinking like theory, bro. And I'm like, this ain't like, I guess it's theory, but like this is more of like a feel than
yeah.
a read.
That's why
Um,
I'm so like, um, can you say vengeful, or like you want to hate them but you just can't, is the people who can like listen to a song and just like learn it by ear. Because like I can't do that. Like it takes a little bit more time for me because I just for any reason my mind can't correlate like a sound as a pitch, and like I memorize that. Like you can learn it, it's just I've never been like able to. I have to like play it. I have to refer it to something. Like that's
Okay.
why I always have my phone, and I could like I have to play it back. I
Confession
can't.
time.
Go ahead.
Confession time. I didn't actually learn how to read music till sophomore year.
ooh,
Trip on that. So
You just
so
so
everything.
jamming with Charlie, you're like you just heard it and you're like, okay, I could jam with Charlie, and
Yes.
then you like, damn,
Yes. Okay, okay. And so this was the fucked up part because I for the longest part for the longest time I learned the lead alto part because okay, so when you're in jazz band, for saxophones there's five different saxophones, or technically just four because the barry usually doubles the lead alto. So there's four different parts. You have second alto, second alto, lead tenor. Second tenor and second alto, they usually get the fucked up parts. They get the harmonies. You hear the melody. If you hear like ba 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 ba, that's the lead alto part. They will always have the main melody. But like let's say the and specifically in jazz, because the chord progressions are so fucked up, the second tenor would be like ba 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 It's like the weird harmony to it. That song doesn't have harmonies, but just for sake of
Yeah, yeah.
example, I was like, I don't know my part. Like I don't know what any of this means. And I knew I had a different part because because you could hear it listening to the actual track. I would listen to it, and for some songs, I actually sat down and listened to the songs, and I picked out my part, and I was like, I think this is my part, and that's how I learned some songs because I couldn't read music. So I actually have decent ears where I was able to learn well the parts where I couldn't pick out my harmony from the songs. I learned the lead alto part, and I was just basically doubling. And sometimes like Limon will be like make sure you're playing like some of those notes right, like your harmony sounds like off, or Espinella back then, and I was like harmonies, eh? Can you
See,
can you sing that for me? How does that go?
look. Here's a fucked up part about jazz. Very rarely do you play the same part as somebody else in the band.
Yes.
For the most part, you're playing your own part,
Yes.
right? Now keep that in mind. Okay? Keep in mind that if you're talking trombone section, the trombone part that gets the weirdest, stupidest version of the song is third bone. Going back to the fact that the worst player is usually playing third bone. So you're telling me that the worst player is playing the most fucked up part,
Yes.
where if they don't know what they're doing, they're going to
Everything.
be listening to the first bone and thinking that's what I'm supposed to be playing, but you're not. Like if it's like Jingle Bells, like dun 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 dun, the third bone's probably like boom 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 beep boom boom beep boom boom da boom, and I was like,
Yes.
what, what is this? What am I playing? Even if I'm playing it right, I'm sounding like I'm wrong.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
you don't hear it until it's in context,
Yes.
Yeah.
right? Because like the first bone is gonna be getting the main melody. That's
Yeah.
the primary voice you're gonna hear,
Yes.
right? Second, I think, is usually like harmonizing it. No, is that the role of the second? Is like the immediate harmonies. Like if you were to point out two harmonies, you could probably hear those two.
Like a third or playing like the seventh of it or something like
Mhm.
that.
Um, the bass bone is the foundation. That's the low boy, right? So you're gonna hear the third bone is always the one that's gonna make there's gonna be some stupid shit in it. And unfortunately, if you're like a freshman player that or barely knows what they're doing,
You're fucked.
you're gonna be like, even if I am playing it right, it sounds wrong. So I don't know if I am playing it wrong. So it sucks. It sucks that they usually have like the worst player playing the weirdest part. Because
Yeah.
even if you are right, probably you sound wrong and you're gonna doubt yourself if you're that kind of person.
That's why because my high school career, like the first 2 years, I was like third trombone. Um, and then I got lucky that I got like promoted to playing bass trombone junior and senior year. So then when I went to college, thinking I was going to stay on bass trombone, when I get there, they're like, "Nah, we got this bass trombone already. Let's put you on third." And I'm just like, "No, no, please,
It's a
no."
demotion.
Yeah,
It's a
I'm just like,
demotion.
ah. But luckily, the songs we ended up playing, like you had weird parts in the third trombone, but like they were at least still kind of catchy. But you still, but difference from like college third trombone and like high school third trombone, like you get some like it's weird, but like a good weird. But it's still like everything can always like fall to you if something sounds bad, especially when I hate it every time when I know I'm playing the right note and it just sounds dissonant, and then like they'll be like, "Yo, like why is the trombone sounding whack? Like what's up with that?" And then they're like, "All right, let's play it all together," and then we'll play it together, and then he was like, "Oh, never mind, it's supposed to sound like that." And I was like, "Oh my god, like don't scare me! Like I'm out here getting a heart attack thinking I'm playing something wrong, but like that's my note. It's supposed to sound wrong on purpose." And I'm just like, "Come on, dude."
See, you're hinting at it. You're hinting at it, right? When you're playing the song and it's everything sounds fine, and the director's like, something sounds fishy in the bones.
Mm-hmm.
Bones, play together.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, right? You play it, something still doesn't sound right. All right, let's go down the line.
Oh,
Ugh, right? Even if you know it, even if you played
yeah.
it right, you're like,
Yes.
fool, what if this is the one time I play it wrong, and then they
Yes.
think it's me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Right?
was my anxiety with them starting left to right. And like two things. One, what really saved me was that Limon started like really hard on theory with jazz bands. Like that really saved me cuz had he not done the theory, I would have probably gone sophomore year without reading fucking sheet music too.
Mhm.
Um and then I just forgot my second thing. Shit.
What do you remember it by notes?
You remember your your
Your
thought
thought by
by finger positions?
come on, just put it and it'll probably come to you.
Um shit. What was I going to say?
I'm telling you, just do this. I bet you will come.
Okay. Well,
Oh! Wait! No, no. Before he goes, okay. So now, if you're a career third bone player, right? You've been in
Uh-huh.
this jazz band for like 15 years, and
Uh-huh.
your gig is third bone forever and ever. Like let's say like a ba da ba 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 da da, that song. Would you, if you're a career third player forever, would you sing the harmony or would you sing the melody to the song?
The
So if
melody.
the melody's like
melody.
ba da ba ba da ba da da, would you play ba da ba da da ba da ba da ba?
You would sing the melody, but the harmony was the flex.
Mm-hmm.
So you right, that would be the one time you flex. You would be like, you know what? You play the harmony. You play the melody. Watch, I got the harmony, and then you sounded cool because you knew the harmony.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying, like, if you're going like about your day, you're washing the
You're
dishes,
thinking you're
you're
thinking lead.
cooking,
You're thinking
Yeah.
you're
melody.
thinking lead. Okay, okay,
Yeah. Well, except if you're like a bass, like Barry or bass trombone, like
Yes, because
those parts
usually
are
there's
those
a
parts are
chance you'll
always
be playing different.
right.
yeah. And then like it's too different. Where like that you think that's cooler than the melody that's happening.
Okay, that's interesting. Because I most of the time I lucked out because most of the time tenor kind of doubled lead alto in some parts. I did have a lot of harmonies, but on the main parts of the melody, I did have some of the main parts. So I always thought like the melody. I never really thought the weird harmonies I had.
Mhm.
So yeah, I was just curious what you guys thought. Like maybe like a career like third bone, they just always thought of their part. They never sang the melody. I
It
think that
might
would be
be
funny.
it might be like good to like try to like when you hear a song, try to sing your part just to help your ears. Because like if you're only ever hearing the melody and someone tells you to like, hey, sing this harmony, and like
Mm,
all in your head you hear is the melodies, like you're never gonna like be able to learn.
true.
So like it'll be like good for you to like start singing the third trombone part. Like
Two things. One, um, do you remember when we would be after marching band rehearsal? Uh, we would have to like turn in permission slips, and there's always a fucking freshman who wouldn't turn in their permission slips, and it was like, all right, we had 12 freshmen not turn in their permission slips, so now we're gonna do 12 minutes of wall sits, right? And then what we ended up doing was like we would sing the whole field show while we were doing wall sits. I
mhm.
would sing like my part.
Yeah,
I
and
wouldn't sing the melody. At that
yeah.
point, you do sing your part,
Mhm. I was
right?
gonna bring that up too. So like, remember, like I can't remember my freshman year or my sophomore year. Like we're just chilling at a McDonald's. I forgot for what, but we were singing like pep tunes the whole time, but like saying like Sam or something. So we're like
Yeah, the Sam
Sam,
Sam.
Sam, 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 Sam. Like when we do things like that's when I like sing my part. Because for some reason, like jazz and like marching and pep band stuff like that, I like they're two different lanes. So like for that, I hear more of my part rather than the melody, just because the way we're associated in the field or even on the stands. Like I'm always up here, so I never get to hear what's happening over there. So I know only my part.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of, so it's like two different like lanes.
Yeah, music is a mind fuck, and I know like if we probably lost a few people along the way throughout the
Oh,
podcast because
we just started reminiscing at this point. Like,
because they're like, what the fuck are positions? Like, are y'all doing the Kama Sutra and band? Is that are those the band stories?
it's basically a bunch of band geek traumas
Yes.
and
PT
things that are like as
PTXD, if you will.
as a band kid, shit that you went through or experienced, and then you someone else is like, oh, I did that shit too, or like, because band music is so like it's not like any other class where say you're in math and you get you an 86% is pretty good. It's good.
Yeah.
In music, when is 86% good?
Nope. You either
'Cause,
have 100 or a zero.
yeah, if you make one mistake, and especially for people who know what they're listening for, they hear that one mistake and it sticks. It doesn't matter how good you played, right? Or let's say you were mistake free and up until that last hit, right? Da 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 da. There it is. There, all your work you just did don't matter. You fucked up the ending. That's it, right? It's if you make a mistake in college, okay, there was a dude who did his performance, right? He was a guitar player. He
Yeah.
performed. Okay? You know exactly who I'm talking about. He performed, right? After he's like, everyone's like, yeah, yeah, dude, you did great. Yeah, you sounded great. Yeah, yeah. And then this one dude, he comes up to him and he's like, hey, bro, you did great. You only made 6 mistakes. And I was like, what the, what the fuck was that? How do you come up to someone like that? How do you go like, yeah, yeah, bro, like that song, I know it inside out, and you only made 7 mistakes. Like you only made 6. Like, that's not a flex. That's not a. That's not. What are you talking? That's not a compliment. What the fuck? Like, and what was funny is that that dude was notorious for his mistakes. So I don't know why he was thought he was anyone to judge anybody else's mistakes. Like,
That's
but I
funny.
remember seeing that live and in concert, and I was like, and I barely knew him. Like, I knew of the legend, but I didn't know. I didn't actually like
Is
know
this
his
one I think
interaction.
I'm thinking of?
Um,
Is it
it's
Queso
it,
Malo?
it yeah, yeah, queso rancio as I like to call him. Um, I was like, I had heard the legends, but this was like my first time seeing them in the wild, and I was like,
Mm,
Bro,
dude, like what? Why? Why
what
would you
is
say that?
this?
Why would you say that, dude? It
yikes.
like these performances are already nerve wracking, and you over here like, yeah, dude, you only fucked up 3 times. Like,
What an alpha
why would?
male.
Why,
What a
and it was
Chad.
funny because, and he was known for his. He was legendary for his mistakes specifically. So I was like,
Who do you think you are?
who do you think you are, bro?
That's funny.
Yeah, it's a lot of band stuff, a lot of band geek stuff, and I'm sure there's a bunch of shit that we haven't hit. And
We
knowing
haven't
the
even
Nate,
talked about like what happened in our festivals, like the behind the scenes,
Yeah,
like
I
the
mean, I mean,
stories, dude. The bus rides, dude. The bus rides in the back of the bus.
okay,
Dude.
see, look, here's the
all
thing.
right.
Here's the thing. That's the kind of thing that like is off the record. It's not gonna be one of these podcasts. We don't talk about none of that. I meant like other, like other, band geek stuff
Well,
that we haven't addressed.
I'm sure we have stories that we can tell. I particularly have one story off my freshman year that I will share at a later time, on a different podcast. Um, just to
Wait,
keep
but
it
I
interesting.
will also like to like let's do a Band Geek another episode, like a part two, but let's react to some of our performances we've been in, because there's a few that are on, and just so we could like cringe at ourselves. That'll be
Already cringing now.
yeah, that'll be awesome, dude.
If I can figure out how to like do that, so I can play it and you both can listen to what I'm listening to and the
Or we could like play it all at the same time on our own and just try to like line it up.
um, I'll try to figure it out. I'll try to figure it out. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, they do that. There's some I've seen some React channels where they have this setup and they're all watching the same thing. So
yes,
I'm pretty sure it's
I need to
possible.
figure out how they do it. But yeah, once I get that down, we can definitely do that to react to our own stuff. But I mean we did have 4 years of band. We only had 2 years with you, Yuli, but I had 4 years with this dude.
Mhm.
And we have some stories. We have some stories that
Ooh.
maybe we can bring back and
Wait, what if most of our friends were also in band? So what if we do like a whole gathering of our friends and get them in here?
I don't know that they would be willing to participate.
I mean, whoever's down, and then we could get like another. That's a whole nother point of view that we could get.
Uh, yeah, we can work out the kinks and figure it out. But yeah, I definitely would want to revisit some stories from band because not oh no, stop it. But I think this is a good place to end it. We've been at it for 2 hours and 1 minute.
Oof.
I think this
Good.
might be our longest podcast,
A
at least
long,
quarantine edition podcast.
You know what's funny is that I feel like we only scratched like the surface
not
of
even.
like
Oh,
all the
bro,
other hidden traumas that we have
We
we
from
just
our
we
band.
just we just opened the lid of
we didn't
our.
even scratch anything. We just looked
Yeah,
at it.
yeah, we're thinking of it right now. We haven't
Yeah.
even we don't have it
Yes.
physically.
So we'll end it here. If you like this episode, if you made it this far, let us know in the comments. We want to know the Chads out there listening to this. If you liked it, subscribe, like, leave a comment, turn on the notification bell. You can find our social medias at JCProds, at King underscore Yuli, no soul double underscore. You can find our Instagram and our Twitter at GotBTTD. Um, and I think that's it. We'll catch you next time. Is your chair broken?
Are we done?
I guess now.